What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV with the post-match fan show. Tottenham 0, Aston Villa 2.
Correct. Another poor showing from the club.
Guys and girls coming on. It's going to be 10 minutes, and it's going to, because there's 7 people already waiting. We are literally going to be 10 minutes, and then we're going to cut you off with this. So we're going to say it now. So say what you have to say. It's going to be explosive. Let's be respectful to one another. But it hasn't been a good day at the office.
Nope.
Looking at after the thing, Villa, Aston Villa winger Emi Buendia. It's been an amazing win. We needed to show everyone that we were capable of winning away, especially against the top team, so we take the 3 points. We knew before the game we had to suffer, be compact, so everyone showed that character. We were ruthless in front of goal. Look...
just quickly, we've got a members chat from Michael Hellman just before it flies off the screen. We're going to try to keep up to date with these because they're flying off because of the people in the chat. Member for Michael Hellman, member for 15 months. 2 words, very simply, leave you out.
And look, there was no reaction to going 1-0 down, going 2-0 down. Conte looked very subdued on the sidelines. It was all very flat. Conte will not be happy losing 2-0, losing at home. It's been really poor. I think we were really poor today. The hammer blow comes from the mistake from Lloris. But like I said, it's all about the reaction, and the reaction was non-existent. So look, let's get into it.
Yeah, first of all, as well, the other thing is you're reading stats, what's been broken. I don't know if people know, but because of that Basuma booking, he is suspended for Crystal Palace. So if Bentancur is not fit, it looks like it'll be a midfield of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg with either Ollie Skip or Pape Matar Sarr. But like you said, Nick, there's 7 in the back end. Let's get this going. And first of all, we have got the Resonator. So let's bring Rez on. Rez, Happy New Year, brother. How are you?
Happy New Year. I was all right. Less so now, obviously. I'm not going to be losing my temper. Okay? That might come as a surprise to a lot of you, but I'm not. Because this is a situation that has existed for a while, and there's no point in essentially losing my temper. All that's needed is for people to wake up and actually see what is going on at the club. And for the stupid who walk amongst us to stop coming up with bullshit arguments, if you'll pardon my language.
Yep.
The ones that I've seen are things like Conte is past it. And it's like, okay, so Conte's past it, in which case I would assume that Nuno was past it.
Oh.
What's going?
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
So I would assume that Nuno was past it, Mourinho was past it, Pochettino was past it, Sherwood was past it, AVB was past it, Redknapp was past it, Ramos, Yol, Santini, Hoddle, and Graham were all past it. Let's put Santini aside because he walked.
Yep.
12 permanent managers with 5 interim periods.
And 6 directors of football.
Yeah, okay. So they're all past it, apparently.
Yep.
Right? Because of all of them, the only one who actually had more accomplishments when we hired him was Jose Mourinho. So they're all past it. So that's the walking stupid argument number 1. Yeah. The other thing I would actually say on that score is, so if Conte at the age of 53 is past it, how come Klopp at the age of 55 isn't? How come Ancelotti at the age of 63 isn't? You know? The counter argument that...
Oh, 1 second. We've got some... sorry, and also Rez, let me say one more thing, sorry. Adam William Cahill, I don't know why you were booted out. There wasn't any particular reason. try and get back in, but the queues are going crazy. We will get you on if you keep trying, Adam William Cahill. Sorry, Rez, back to you, my friend.
Yeah. The counter argument that, again, the walking stupid will do is like, well, Ancelotti manages Real Madrid and has very good players, and similar stupid things that people will say about Klopp. And you know what? The answer to that is precisely. Yeah. They have good players because those clubs are big clubs and they act like it. You know, they go out and they buy good players. The other walking stupid argument that I like is the one, oh, well, you can't get every transfer right, you know. There are always mistakes. It's like, yeah, absolutely. You're spot on. No manager, no director of football, no owner, no one will get every single transfer right. That's perfectly valid. The key is that when a club, other than Spurs, get a player that is no good, they get rid of them. They don't give them new contracts, you know?
Yeah.
They don't go out and buy a player that the manager doesn't want either.
Oh, by the way, as well with that, Rez, have you heard that Chelsea have confirmed that they are buying for 35 million that defender from Monaco? So it's New Year's Day and Chelsea have struck again. And Chelsea are currently playing, but apparently you can't buy players when you're playing football.
Yes, apparently. So I don't know what was going on during the 6 weeks of the World Cup because we weren't playing then. But hey, I guess we've all got it wrong all this time. A couple of things that I will also pull people up on with regard the Conte has passed it thing. They will turn around and say, you know,
we lost him, have we?
I think we just lost. Oh, wait a minute. Rez, are you still with that? He's back. Sorry, Rez.
Yeah. It's not, I don't think it's on my end. I think it's the Wirecast keeps cutting out. So, they'll turn around and say, you know, stuff like the style of football is unacceptable. I mean, the issue you've got is, and Stella actually said this best the other day. He turned around and he said, when Klopp is hired by a club and they ask him, what style of football do you play? And he says, well, I play gegenpress. And the hierarchy at the club that have hired him said, well, you know, this is the squad of players you've got. Is that sufficient for your needs? And he says, no. They go out and buy him the players that he wants, that will fit what he wants to do. Or when Guardiola went to wherever he went, you know, they would have said, what kind of football are you going to be playing? And he would have said, well, I play tiki-taka. And, you know, again, it would have been a case of, does this squad meet your needs? And if the answer was no, his employers would go and find him the tools that he needed to do his job. Whereas we identify that Conte is a problem. Conte is not a problem. We say he's stubborn. No, this is the way he plays football. If you don't want to play that football, and I understand that the fans don't get a choice in that, but if you don't want to play that style of football, you don't hire Conte, okay? But once he's hired, the fans have to accept that that is the style that's going to be played. You don't turn around and say that you know better. There's a reason he is paid millions of pounds. There's a reason he's paid millions of pounds a year. It's because he has experience and he has achievement. He is an elite manager. If he doesn't want to play Jed Spence, there is a reason. You don't know any better, not you guys, anyone who wants to gainsay or question what Conte does. If it's that easy, go and do it. It's a very well-paid job, I've heard. Yeah? Rather than, you know, go to an office for 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 pounds an hour, if it's that easy, just play Jed Spence, send your CV in. I'm sure they'll be queuing up to hire you as an elite football manager. Yeah? These are the things that the stupid say. The other thing that the stupid say is stuff like Levy is a great owner. And he isn't. Yeah. And I was talking to Nick earlier, and we were discussing how dispiriting it is, especially as people that run a channel, to have to keep talking about this.
Correct.
But when you
Not today, of all days.
Of all days.
Of all days.
Has he gone? Yeah. Okay, guys. Sorry, Rez. You were mid-flow, and we were kind of. There's a lot of problems in the back, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's not the people calling. It's in the back. It's in the background. Right. Next person. 10 minutes.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is going to be fire. It's the Joracle.
First of all, Jory, before we let you go, Happy New Year, my friend. I hope it's a happy New Year, guys. One. And then off you go, sir.
Well, I mean, I like where to start. Once again, it's like my super chat said, like we have a full house of frauds everywhere we look, basically. And Conte is basically surrounded by them, and what she's supposed to do. I don't know how many transfer windows that would take to change that, because transfer windows really only at the best change players, were bad players for better. But that's really not the crust of it. I think, for example, Lloris, the glaring issue that we've been, some of us have been seeing for quite a while, and kind of it was crystallized today, is like Lloris has been a huge part of our leadership problem in the club, the lack of leadership. Lloris is not the leader of our club. I mean, Lloris is not even the leader in the French squad, in my view. He's a nice guy. He's one of the best, reflex goalies still. What's going on?
I don't know. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
This message will self-destruct.
Exactly. He has got all his bot network working on you guys tonight, I think. But I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of stuff that the various Levy inners and Conte outers are saying now tonight. And I'm hearing stuff like, well, we're playing too predictably, our formation is too predictable and stuff. Like, for me, it's just like, come on, guys. How can we even have this conversation? We have a squad that's not able to carry the ball more than 10, 15 meters without being put under pressure and then losing the ball. How are we going to be able to play fluid formations and all kinds of gegenpress, whatever you want to, whatever hipster football formation you want to put on? How we're supposed to do that with no quality apart from 5 players at the most,
So
it's not going to happen.
Sorry, Joe, I've just got to say, I've just been checking my Twitter quickly because it's just going bananas with the tweet I put on. And someone's actually had the audacity to tweet to me and say, every player is crap, blame Levy. Well, yes, we will blame Levy because, as I've said 100 million times, once the players cross the white line, the result and the performance has absolutely nothing to do with Levy. But the very fact that they can cross the white line, put on that shirt and put in that performance has absolutely everything to do with Daniel Levy.
And I think I've heard you say this before, Brian, and I think it's really poignant, the point you bring up there, and I agree, except I actually don't agree, Brian, because their behavior on the pitch, their weakness, like what Lloris is a banner for weakness right now, has been for a long time, is also due to the culture in the club. It's also due to what the lies, the dishonesty, the fraudulence that's going on in this organization. The same with Dyer. These players can cross the line and then actually not give their all, not die on the field like is demanded by the fans, is demanded by your manager, because they live in a house which is run in this manner.
Exactly.
If they lived in a house where you had to answer for your deeds, it would be a different story. But it's not like that in Tottenham. And why isn't it like that? Because Levy doesn't want to answer for his deeds, because Levy's assistant doesn't want to answer for his deed, and so on and so on. The medical staff doesn't want to answer for their misdiagnosis, so on and so on and so on. This is
Jory. Look, we've just had the first bit of Conte speaking after the game. So it says, in the first half, we played with good intensity. We didn't concede anything, and we found a team that defended too deep, and then we conceded this goal, and then the confidence dropped for my players. We have to know that our life is this. We have to fight every game for 1 point or for 3 points. This is the truth, especially when you're without 2 or 3 important players and have difficulties. We have different characteristics. We don't have many players who are really good to beat the man. We don't have many creative players in our team. For sure, today was really difficult to find space in the first half. I'm sure that if we don't concede the goal, we could win the game instead. The goal that we conceded killed us in confidence, and in many situations, for sure, you have to try and improve and develop these players, and especially young players, to be even stronger.
So just before we get Joy to respond, we just had a super chat in, and like I said, I'm going to try and read these super chats as they come because the chat is flying. It's from Chunky Cheeks. Romero was the only player on the pitch we paid more than 30 million for, and that rests solely on Levy's head. But I want to go back, Jory, to what you were saying about Lloris and Dyer. The other thing I find out with this is that with Lloris and Dyer, they have not had, or Lloris especially, throughout his whole tenure, a quality backup to threaten his position and say, if you screw up, and just to let you know, guys, Chelsea have just gone 1-0 up. So Chelsea, by the looks of it, Raheem Sterling has just scored. So Chelsea are closing the gap on us. But getting back to us, Jory, like I said, Lloris just knows I'm playing next game. Dyer, thankfully, was dropped because he constantly made it. But Lloris, throughout the years, has known who's going to replace him. Gazzaniga? Galini? Foster? We can go on. And again, that is on one man and one man only.
And I mean, actually now, Lloris is so shit that, and I'm, with all due respect to Foster, I actually think he's pretty good. Foster's better than Lloris. I don't want to see Lloris start anymore. We have a absolutely struggling transition. Nothing is working in our team because our first line is so fucking crap that we can't transition anymore. And yeah, you can put some blame on Conte for that. Try and find other solutions. He's told them go long ball, whatever. We're weak as fuck in the air as well. So long ball isn't really a good option either. So there's no two ways about it. I would take Foster over Lloris, even though he would, let's say, concede 10 more goals a season than Lloris, if for the upgrade in the playing out. Even though Foster's no world beater in playing out, but he is so much better than Lloris, which is not saying much, to be honest. And then you go down, like we saw already today, that some of the transitional play was a little bit better because of Romero, but it was worse because of the one that everybody loves to hate on, which is Emerson was not in the squad because he's now starting to fight with the staff there, it seems. And so for me, it was obvious that the right side wasn't as powerful in transition as it is often. But it's like, even if you give me my first choice of all these players, and I get to choose the formation and everything, it's still fucking crap. And you saw Villa. Villa doesn't have a amazing defense on it. They have an average defense, and with an average defense, this is what they can do, because I really think that game was won with their defense, with their defending. That was really what won the game for them. This is not something that we're able to do. When we sit back and try and do this, we like they can so easily target one or two players in our back line and put pressure on them, and they'll get joy on the press. So it's like it's all not working, and it's all not working simply. Yeah, you could say, yeah, these players, they don't work for Conte, no, but okay, I'll concede to that. No, these players do not work for Conte. Did they work for Mourinho? Did they work for Potts? Are they gonna work for the next manager? These players are not working. Period. They should be championship players, not Premier League players.
Well, Joey,
So
you just struck on something very, very poignant, and it's something we've got to realise and deal with. As you said, these players didn't work for this manager, the players didn't work for this manager, and when we do this, we always switch it up with a manager from a completely different style of football. So whoever comes in next, for these people that want Conte out, I am still very much Conte in. It's going to happen again, isn't it?
yes, I mean, I'll just to prove my point. Once Conte is out, I'm out. To be honest, but to prove my point, I will. If Conte goes out, I will hope and pray that we get a guy like Gasperini, complete insane all out attack, no bars hold. That's what these Levy inners are constantly calling for, and you will see a meltdown like you will never see. If he's doing that with this squad, it's gonna be 7-0 every other game to the opposition. It's so freaking obvious in terms of we're talking about how come we always concede in the first and then we play well in the second half. It's because you go onto the field with a plan and everybody has a role, and now your fucking backline cannot handle their responsibility and they concede, and now our whole midfield drops to kind of alleviate the pressure on our backline. And then the reason why we then win in the second half is because our offense works overtime to get some goals in, because we do have world-class players, because they really put a turn in, because they actually, I will give them this, especially the offensive players and midfield players, they are fighting tooth and nail to get back into it. But to me, it's not a mystery why we're always conceding in the first half. It's simply because they're supposed to take care of the back line, and then they get put under the slightest bit of pressure, close down, and they lose the ball, and it's usually some kind of pressing tactic that makes that first goal from the opposition. And then we have to change it up. Then the midfield needs to work double time, and then our offense works double time, and we get something back usually. I'm kind of happy we didn't get anything back today, because I want, like, the idea that we're okay is completely insane, and I think it's in some way a good thing that it's obvious for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Sorry, moving forward very quickly, we've got Palace next. Palace away, which is a notorious hard fixture for us. Bissouma is now suspended for that, picking up his 5th yellow card. So if Bentancur's not fit, and we highly doubt he will be, it's going to be Skip or Mate Sarr in a midfield 2, unless he switches it up or tries something. Can you take any positives going into? I mean, Palace we're notoriously away out. What do you see happening for Palace?
I mean, like you say, and I think I've heard you say, Brian, and I feel exactly the same way. Like, playing Palace away is always, I never feel good for that game, because, that's where Tottenham is so freaking weak always. It's the gritty, dirty, really, really, kind of almost street kid like squads. When we come up against those kind of players, then we usually don't come up out on top, So I'm not feeling great about it. But like the other thing is like now I'm into this mode where I really I'm happy to see things revealed for what they are, even though I'm never happy losing a game. I almost feel, and I've been feeling like this when we've been getting the 3 points lately. It's kind of like, yeah, now it kind of papers over the cracks, It's not, like I'm glad for the 3 points. I'm glad we're hanging on to the top, but it's still something that's it's an illusion in my view, and it's been an illusion for most of this season, So I'm happy. I heard that there were Levy out chants in the stadium, like we heard at the start of the first kind of news we heard out of in terms of the January transfer was that there wouldn't be any money, there wouldn't be any buying, blah blah blah. Then it was there will be some buying, but young players, not high salary. Yep. Then blah blah blah. And steadily, it's been yeah. We're gonna buy, And what is that? That's the pressure on Levy. And like for me, it's like I almost want to give up on supporting this club, because if we have ownership, which we need to drag over the winning goal line, kicking and screaming, what the fuck is the point of this club? It isn't, it's barely a club anymore. It's really just like a stand, a fast food stand and concert hall. Like it's you guys that's left, and you're the minority by now. Everybody else is they just want to get a champagne football game in twice a year and eat some burgers and then forget about it,
Well, hopefully it will change now, Jory. But Jory, listen, it's always great speaking to you, mate. We'll have a WhatsApp call during the week and have a catch up and chat all things Tottenham/Levy/Enoch. Happy New Year to you and the family, brother. And I'll see you very soon.
Big up,
great
Jory.
show, guys. Keep it up.
Jory.
It's going to be a hard one tonight. So
Yeah.
It will be. But peace out, Jory. See you later on, mate.
Bye.
So just a few things before we bring on the next guest. Just so people know, the link at the top is my channel, Tottenham on Tour. Please give that a like and subscribe if you can. We're trying to grow. It is a channel where we are very Levy out. So if you want to be kept up to date on anything Levy out or the movement that I'm part of or what's going on, please click that like, subscribe. We will be doing a lot of content this week. We have a super chat.
Yep.
From Howder Lamy, which says most back manager and yet no style. Conte out. I would very quickly say to that, once again, yes, has he been given money? Yes. Has he been able to bring in quality over quantity? No, it's the other way around again with managers. We did 7 with Jose, 7 with Bale. We did 7 again, rather than using that money to buy 2-3 quality players. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, guys, there's 7 people still in the background. I'm literally, it's going to be 10 minutes, and I'm going to have to interrupt you if we get to 10 minutes because there's so many people still trying to join. Just finally, before we go to the next guest, Conte on conceding again. We've conceded the first goal, and for sure we tried to score goals. There is an opponent like you that can score during the game. We understand very well that the league will be really, really difficult for us. We have to try to recover all the injured players, and then we have to know that in every game we have to fight and show that we are strong. The league will be very difficult for us. I want to be honest. I want to be very clear. I've said this to the club. I've said my opinions. The fans deserve the best. Maybe to stay in 5th is the best. Maybe 6th, 7th, 5th, or 4th is the best. So Conte is again reiterating the message that, these players aren't good enough and the fans deserve better.
And the one final thing I want to bring up, which is actually a comment that was brought up, I think, before we even kicked off, saying about we need to give Kane a rest. And you could see in that game, he was so ineffective again.
Kane and Son, they both need a rest.
Yeah, but Kane hasn't stopped. Son's had his injury. Son's had... he needs a rest, and I think he has to be rested against Portsmouth because he's just knackered. He's just ineffective. But anyway, next guest, and this next guest, it's me.
Let's get him on.
It's me. It's KPV. What's up, Kyle? How you doing, brother?
Not good. fucking pissed off again, as always. What the fuck is wrong with this club? I don't like it. Enough is enough. Time to start protesting. Get the banners out, people.
1 second. Aravind, can you mute yourself? I can hear you in the back end, brother. Sorry, Cole. Off you go, brother.
It's time to start protesting. Get the banners out, people. Get them out. If you find one, buy one. It's time to start screaming and shouting. Levy out, Enoch out. It's time. We are shit. We are shambles.
Carl, is there anything positive, anything at all you can take positive from that game? Apart from, obviously, everyone will say, and I think this is a common thing, that the one true performer, mainly for the first half, but he had to be quite restrained in the second half, was Cuti Romero. Is there any other positive you take from that game?
Nope, I don't think so. No, I don't take anything positive. Like, what was Hugo doing? Comes back from the World Cup and he does this again. Like, sorry, Hugo, but time to go. New goalkeeper to come in, please. Need a new one. I'd go for the Croatian goalkeeper, Livakovic or Dean Henderson. I've been saying that for the last few weeks. Those two, the options I'd go for. Like, time for Laurie to go. World Cup winner and Nations League winner, and but lost the World Cup to Romero. So at least he's won those two with France. But time to leave, fella. You're just forcing.
Yeah, but I just have to say, for people that were wondering were there any chance in the ground today, after the second goal, there was a very short but loud get out of our club, get out of our club, Daniel Levy, get out of our club, followed by, what did you say, Nick? We want our Tottenham back.
We want Tottenham back. Yeah.
So they did start. There is start. People saying the fans can't make a difference. We will. We always have done. We always will do. There is more to come. Carl, so also... We didn't concede a goal in the first half. So going into that game, or going into the second half, you would have thought, brilliant. Second half, Tottenham are going to be here and we'll get through and we'll get those 3 points. But first half, Tottenham turned out for second half, didn't they?
Yeah, like second half, yeah, they always call us second half FC.
Could you speak? Carl, you've got mute.
Can't hear you, Carl.
I'm here, lad.
Oh, sugar.
Oh, well done, Brian.
That wasn't me.
It wasn't me, was it?
There you go.
It's under your chair, yeah?
But that doesn't mean it would be me.
It was you, man.
1 second, Carl. Carl, speak.
Oh,
There we go.
The jabroni got the mic out, the headphones out, Kyle.
No, I didn't. We'll get VAR on that. But yeah, sorry. What was you saying, Carl?
The first half we didn't concede. It was second half we conceded. Like, at least we didn't concede in the first half, so we didn't. Like, second half, we conceded 2 goals. Like, for the, 6th game in a row, I think, conceded 2. Don't know how many games that is, but...
10th, I think, actually, Carl. 10 in a row.
10, 2, including Liverpool game. Like, why can't we just have a good first half? Clearly, these players are not working. Like, yeah, as Joey said, did they work for Poch? No. Well, some of them did, but these lot here still didn't. Did they work for Mourinho? No. Did they work for Nuno? No. Did they work for Conte? No. Like, what is wrong with us, man? Like, new signings need to be sorted and need to come in. Like, get rid of the Deadwood players. Sanchez isn't good. Dyer, just a waste of space. The others, poor. West Kane against Portsmouth. And, like, Palace coming up. That's not going to be good, is it? Like, our record there isn't that bad. Only 1 defeat and a couple of draws. Like,
we haven't won there since 2018 with 1 fourth.
Exactly. I said that the other day. 1 fourth. That was
not a good place to go. And obviously, do you know what the funny thing is? I was watching a match today when they beat Bournemouth. and they said that they've gone 2 games in a row without a shot on goal or a shot on target, Palace. They go and beat Brentford. Then we do this. And it's like, oh, we've got Palace next away. Brilliant stuff.
Kyle, I think the only thing we can do tonight to cheer ourselves up is to go and listen to Who Let the Dogs Out. That's the only solution, mate. So,
and I'm going bowling in about in just a couple of minutes. Going bowling, and I'm going to watch Forest beat Chelsea because the game. What's the score? Is it still 0-0
Chelsea
at
the moment? 1-0 Chelsea.
Sammy won't be happy with you saying that. So,
who scored?
I think it was Raheem Sterling.
Oh, Sterling, Jabroni style. Jesus.
Jabroni.
Well, they're still behind us, though. They're still below us. But
for now, Kyle. For now.
All right, fair play. Anyway, lad.
I'll say to you, Kyle, when you go bowling, mate, just think the Skittles are Daniel Levy's head. You bowl a perfect 300.
Yeah, like I hit 300 on the Nintendo Wii when I had that.
There you go. It's written in the stars. It's written in the stars.
And as always, Levy out. Barry, Brian, everyone in. Enoch, Levy
You've
out.
been played KPV. See you later on, brother.
Big up KPV. Super chat from Dan THFC. It's good we have a nice stadium. Studio full, by the way. Absolutely. We're going to get onto that now. And the next person to come
here
on
we go. Here we go. Aravind.
I think he's on the phone to someone else.
Aravind, if you're on the phone, get off.
Get off the phone, Aravind.
Hello.
Aravind,
Hello.
Happy New Year, Aravind.
Happy New Year,
let's get the formalities out of the way. Happy New Year to you and your family. Wish you a happy and healthy one. Now that's the formality,
10 minutes, go.
Off you go,
happy
brother.
New Year, guys. You know what? I'm actually not even depressed that we lost today. I expected this to happen, and I've been saying this since 2019 that we need to get a manager, that we need to revamp the squad from starting to end and get a proper manager that can build a project. But we know what Enoch is, so regardless of that. But I just want to take out Enoch out of the equation. We know what Enoch how this Enoch operates and all that stuff. What this club should have done is should have either backed Pochettino, or either if you think he was very stale and you don't believe him, get some other manager that plays the way which we as fans also like to watch, and everyone else also like to watch. With in consideration that I would also have sold Kane and Son in that equation and actually built a proper squad in it. So that's what I was expecting us to do. But what did we go and do? Got Nuno, kept Eric Dyer, Davis, Kane, Son. There's a lot of moving parts in this squad. I don't think so. There's any solution to what we are doing. We're just creating problems after problems, windows after window, and it's not helping out anyways.
Correct. So obviously, what did you actually make of that overall performance, Arvin? Let's get into the performance. I mean, again, apart from a great first half performance and showing from the Romero we know and love, can you take any positives?
When I see Conte, I don't see him very. He's not that excited and very he feels a bit out of. He's also a bit. I'm also I feel sad for him because he doesn't have much options from the bench to also do. There's nothing much he can change in the game. Also, in fact, if we are 0-0, and Hugo Lloris, I know he plays so well for France, but I know when it comes to Spurs, he makes this type of mistakes. I don't. There's no chemistry between any players. Son is looking dull. Kane was not good today. I didn't see anything we can do. Perisic was bad. It comes to an equation. I do back Conte. I do trust in him, but the performance in the last 8 to 9 games, I can't see anything which is I can see that's going to improve in the squad, because I expected at least a draw against Aston Villa. I don't know if you'd have won or not, but a draw. But we can't go every game 1-0 down, 1-0 down, 1-0. I don't understand what's the mentality of this. Is it Conte's tactics, coaching? Because It's happening game after game after game. And that's something which I need to question Conte.
Yep. You look at it, and it's what we got to look at as well, Aravind, is Conte is a manager that needs money and time. I don't think he's going to get either. I don't think he's going to get either.
I don't understand what we're doing, right? If we're not gonna give him that much money you want him to do, and you want to build a project-based manager, get him sacked today. I don't understand what are we doing? It's January the 1st. We have 30 days left in the transfer window. What are we doing? If you want to get Pochettino, you want to bring on young players. Okay, I'm still eating out if he's going to bring Pochettino. I'm not backing that anyways. I'm not backing this manager. But regardless of that, that's what if you want to do. Forget the fans. Forget what we think as a whole. If that's what you want to do, you want to build a young squad, and you have made a mistake. You want to build a young squad. Get him out of the door. What are we doing? He's 6 months. He's not interested. I can see on his face. He's not interested in what he's doing. He's playing Jet Spence in right wing. I don't know what the hell was that substitution, which he bought Emerson Royal, Jet Spence, Skip, Sara. I don't understand what was the substitutions today.
I think Aravind, I think for me is that we don't have a plan. This is the issue. If you look at teams like Brighton, for example, they have a plan, they have a philosophy. If another manager comes in, they know exactly how they want to play. We don't have anything. We're clueless. That's
I do
the
agree.
issue.
The thing is that in this transfer window, we're not going to do anything. We know the defense and the wing backs are a problem. We should have addressed this before the Aston Villa match. We should have gotten Pedro Porro. We should have gotten 2 centre backs before the Aston Villa match, and that would have shown. Oh yes, Conte is backed. Conte is signing his. I think so. He would have, even if he's not ready to sign the contract. If we'd have gone and got him the players which he wants, he would have signed a contract by next week. But the thing right now, we don't know what we are doing in this transfer window. And I'm sorry, that's in business. There's a slope where it goes up, and there's a debt phase. I think so. Spurs is coming to that. It's coming to that stage. Whatever manager we're going to bring, it's going to fail, and fans are losing patience. I can see from the Twitter wise, everyone is losing patience. Even the people who are supporting them, regardless if they want to see in or out, they're losing patience. There's no plan. There's nothing over here. We're losing against Aston Villa at home. And if Conte loses the next match, sorry to say, right, his questions, it's better for him to just walk out or sack him. Like, I don't understand what is going on.
Aravind, I reckon if we lose against Palace, I don't think Conte will be there by the weekend.
So before you ask Aravind, I just have to say, before we came on the air, Nick and I did a bit of channel surfing just to see what the vibe was and what people were saying. And there was someone that said, if I was Antonio Conte, I would be banging down Daniel Levy's door and kicking it off the hinges and saying, right here, right now, I need assurances, and I need them right now. Are you going to back me? What is going on? Because people saying, people are buying you, don't worry, don't panic. Chelsea have got to sign someone today. We can see that our midfield, we don't know how long Bentancur's out for. Our defence is a shambles. Our goalkeeper needs support. Our right wing back is terrible. Our attackers aren't doing anything. Kulusevski is now injured. So this is before adding to the squad. I'm talking about players that need help.
And I agree with you. I'm telling you, the unique model of sustainability, getting this cheap players, is not. Forget about winning the title. It's not going to take us into the top 4. The Premier League is evolving. Newcastle are becoming big spenders. City are becoming big spenders. You know what Arsenal can do with their money power, and you know what Chelsea can do with the money power, and even Liverpool with good recruiting. And we're falling behind and behind and behind. The unique model of what they're trying to do, this is not sustainable. They need to evolve. The only way forget about winning that title. Only way Premier League is going to be to even touch the top 4 is if you're going to spend on quality players. This is not going to work. This is going to die. Any manager you're going to bring in, it's going to die. But at least there's no plan. At least do something. Like what is happening in this squad? Like, there's 6 months left with the manager. He's not signing a contract. Or you want to bring some other manager, bring him on. Do something. There's nothing which is happening over here. Like this, it's shambles. It's total shambles. the worst I've seen any club manage. Like this is worse than even Bournemouth can manage. Even Southampton has some plans. But what is happening over here? I don't understand. 30 million transfer budget is, oh my goodness, man. I can't agree with that. You're saying you need to sign 3 players with 30 million is horrible. I don't understand the transfer policy. I don't understand the manager. I don't understand what are we trying to play. But to be really honest, right? I at least want to see our club playing attacking football. So just get some bloody manager who can play that. I don't give a shit if you're going to win titles because that's not going to happen. But let me at least watch some attacking football.
Yeah, absolutely,
Correct.
absolutely, Aravind, absolutely. And speaking sense, my man. Look, we still got so many people waiting to come on. We've had 10 minutes. Sorry to cut you off, man. And
Sure,
we'll
sure.
speak soon,
And
buddy.
as always, Enoch out.
Big up,
Big up. I
Aravind.
just have to say, Alistair Gold's just tweeted in the last 3 minutes, and it's basically he's been at the press conference. Alistair Gold has said, this is Conte, word for word. I was very clear with the club, and in the summer, people spoke about Tottenham as title contenders. From my experience, it was a bit crazy to read this, but you have to accept this. To become title contenders, you need a solid foundation, 14, 15 strong quality players, and the young players to develop to add every season. You can add 2 players, but 2 players to invest 60, 70 million players to improve the level of the team. People think that you arrive, and when you arrive and you win this way. If people are not used to this, you need to create this situation. You need time. You need patience. So he's saying basically we need to spend the money we have. We need to spend on quality, not quantity, and let the youngsters come through like other players are doing.
Yeah.
And he's bang on the money once again. But as I say, we always go quantity over quality. Don't get me wrong, January we did everything right. We brought in 2 quality players. We brought in, didn't realise they were going to be as highly quality as they were, but that was spending wisely on 2 outstanding players.
Yeah.
I know you got a super chat to read out. Nick, so I'll let you read it.
Yeah, so super chat from SLG. Hi guys, thanks for the content. Always amazing. Do you guys think it's the end of Son as a player, not only at Tottenham but as a player in general, Brian?
So, do you know what? I saw a comment in the chat earlier, and I don't know who it was, and big ups whoever said it. And I've noticed, do you know what it is? I think Son's lost a yard of pace. I think that explosive pace that he had last season, obviously getting old or maybe injured, whatever, he just seems that yard short of it. And that yard short of it is that explosive pace that he has. He's not the fastest, but he has explosive pace to get away from people. This season, he seems to have lost that. And I think we're starting to see how huge that yard of pace is. What about yourself?
Yeah, look, he's not been the same since the summer. He's been overworked. Same with Kane. Look at that bench today. 6 defenders on there. No one to come up front. We had to play bloody thingy up front, and it's just crazy. But anyway, let's get to the next caller. It's Adam William Cahill.
Haven't spoken to it. Happy New Year, Adam. Long time no speak, my man.
Happy New Year, guys! It's the highlight of my day is going to be able to chat to you, beautiful gentlemen, and I'm happy out. I'm happy out.
Let's have your
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, brother.
New Year,
Let's
man.
have your thoughts towards the game, the board, everything, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, look, I mean, everyone who has seen me on here in the past knows that I'm Captain Optimism, and I normally have a lot of hope for. I like to have the most hopeful attitude towards what's ahead of us. But the thing at the moment is that we've been a lack of foresight has led to being in a position now where we're caught between a rock and a hard place, because back before at the beginning of this of the season, I was thinking, okay, we're in the best possible position. We've had a pre-season with Conte. We got the players in that apparently he wanted, apart from Spence. And when we did start off the season, we knew up until a month ago or so, we had the best start of a season that we'd had in a very, very long time. There was lots to be optimistic about. Unfortunately, since then, one of the things that we have seen, obviously, is an incredible lack of fortune with respect to injuries. And even today, I can't imagine that it would have gone down quite as badly as that if Kulusevski had started, because he is absolutely a linchpin in that team now. So the fact that we had him out injured again today, and they've said it's only for one match. Please God, he's back for Crystal Palace. But he's so pivotal to having the team. But we still have Bentancur out, and we don't know for how long. So those 2 players out really messed us up. And the problem, the problem is, I was saying from the very beginning, I didn't believe that we were necessarily going to go on and do incredible things this season because we need several transfer windows to completely rebuild the team. The concern at this juncture is we're in 5th place. We are going to get passed by Liverpool and Chelsea in no time now, especially when the upcoming games will be Crystal Palace and then Arsenal, and I think it's City twice.
Yep.
So, like, we are going to be absolutely rolled over. I can't see at this point any chance of us finishing in a Europa League position, never mind a Champions League position by the end of the season, no matter what we do in January. Because let's be honest, we would need a spending unlike anything that we're even capable of, never mind what we demand. We'd need a Gvardiol to come in and fix up that back line because the back line is an absolute mess. We'd need to buy Martinez from Villa. We'd need, Pedro Porro or better out on the right wing back position. There's too many things that would need to be done for us to go on and win absolutely every single game for the rest of the season to make sure that we didn't end up in the Conference League position.
Yep.
Then we end up in a scenario where does Conte walk in that situation? Now, based on on the Alistair Gold message that you just read out, Brian, maybe he is still willing to take the time and have the patience and grow the squad. Maybe he's willing to be that project manager. Maybe. But maybe he walks if we don't get into a Champions League position and therefore we can't get we don't have the appropriate leverage to be able to get good players to come in during the summer. So just put us in the position of, so Conte is refusing. The only way we'd know for sure if he's going to stay is if he signed a bloody contract. But he's refusing to sign, which means that we don't know whether we can back him or not to be able to get him to the players that he specifically wants, because we can't go out and buy players for a 3-4-3 system if he's going to feck off in the summer and then we get a manager like Poch back, who, I would, in a weird way, I'd be really excited to get him back, even though I'd be pulling my hair out at losing Conte. But he's not going to play a 3-4-3. And then, so we buy players that Conte wants, and then he's gone and we don't have his system anymore. The thing is, he has a very, very specific way that he wants to play. But the annoying thing about it is, as well, is we've become very predictable. We're playing the 3-4-3 every single week in, week out. And I love Conte, but I'm starting to be really, really concerned about every considerable permutation of what could happen with this club at this moment in time.
Adam,
let me just have landed ourselves.
Let me just say, because no, I just wanted to say, because you're like you said about the contract, the problem we have with the contract is Conte's got 6 months. Levy, apparently from what we're hearing, Levy wants Conte to sign before he's backed because then he knows he's committed. Yep. But you've got to see where Conte stands, knowing that everyone has signed on that dotted line, has been lied to by Levy and hasn't been backed with what he needs and what he wants. Maybe they've given money, which they spent atrociously 85% of the time. This is a real issue we've got at the club now, and I'm sorry, but on this I'm with Conte again. And that's not because of my hatred, or it is because of my hatred for him, for Levy. It's because how many people have been let down. Harry Kane saying, back my ambitions, I stay. And all these things. What we've got to look at is the chicken and the egg story. Levy wants him to commit. And even if he does commit and doesn't back him, Conte will walk. He's done it at Milan. He's done it at Chelsea. That contract, he'll walk. But Conte needs to show that, okay, back me. And it's a real predicament, isn't it?
It is. This is the problem. It's a catch-22 because he is not going to. He's not going to sign unless he gets backed. But Levy's not going to back a manager that is not going to stay more than 6 months. And it's not exactly fair enough. Levy's the one that's proved he's not reliable. But you also just can't take Conte on his word that he'll stick around if he gets backed. Because the thing as well is he could get backed. You could end up plagued with more injuries. We could end up in the Conference League position, and Conte could still walk. Do you know what I mean? Because we ended up with Bentancur's injured. Bentancur's been frequently injured. Kulusevski's been frequently injured. Richarlison's been frequently injured, and Bissouma is basically like a real letdown. Now I hope that he can kick things off at Spurs somewhere later on in the season or next season. Maybe he's just needing some betting in time, but he is really proven to be such a poor acquisition at this moment in time, and it's nobody's fault. You would assume it was a great idea. Do you know what I mean? But it's not working out. So it just means that through if things had gone differently, if none of those injuries had happened, and we were at a point now where we weren't concerned about having to bring in another forward when we had so many, instead of going and getting the centre back that we need. What Conte has said that he wants to do is get a right wing back and get a forward, because clearly what he'd rather do is leak a couple of goals but score way more on the other end, right? But I think from the Levy point of view as well, is he's like, well, I'm not going to go out and buy you a load of centre backs and then you're gone, and then I have too many centre backs for the next manager comes in and plays a back four.
6 defenders on the bench, Adam. 6 defenders on the bench.
And they're all
not good
shite.
enough. And we can't get rid of them because no one will buy them. This is where we're at.
I tell you something, that those substitutions that were made at the end of the match today as well pissed me off, because they were such shop window substitutions. They had, after 70 odd minutes, they gave up.
Yeah,
completely gave up to bring on shop window subs, which is a disgrace. Because what they got, no one's going to look at Jed Spence in 5 minutes and go, maybe we should get him, or any of the Emerson Royal in 5 minutes of play and go, yeah, do you know what? Those were the best 5 minutes I've ever seen of any right back ever. I think we'll buy him. Like, it's not going to happen.
You certainly wouldn't buy him off for 90 minutes, though, would you? You certainly wouldn't buy him.
Exactly. Exactly. You're not buying him full stop.
One thing I would do, Adam, one thing I would do, what do you think about this? I would be on the phone to Udinese or whatever club it is right now saying, I know you've got Destiny Aduje till the end of the season. How much is it going to take for us to abolish that and get him back now? I would do everything possible, because we were talking about Son. I want to see Perisic go up top and give Son some help, because there's a lot of heat being shown on Son, warranted or not warranted. I am kind of the one thing I am on the fence on is that. But I think Destiny Aduje, get him back.
I think he's going to be. I think he will be brilliant, and I think if we could bring him in now instead of waiting until next season, that would be unbelievable. It really, really would. So that's one thing to look at. You mentioned Son though, it breaks my heart to see him have such a woeful season that he's my favorite player. But I'm also concerned that again, that little thing in the back of my head where it's are Tottenham better off with Pochettino at the helm than Conte? Because Conte is everybody else was getting a tune out of Son apart from Conte. Do you know what I mean? And Son was getting better and better and better until this season. He's got the golden boot last season. The dude is an absolute legend. I do think you're right. He's 30 now. He's going to start losing pace. Absolutely true. But you saw, he's basically, he's no different than Ronaldo. What you do is you end up just sticking him further forward as opposed to putting him on the wing and having to do the running. You just get him up front. And he doesn't, and he has those extra few yards already because he's not coming in from the wing. So I think Poch would know what to do with him. I just feel like when Conte's playing the same system all the time and it's not benefiting that telepathy between Son and Kane, even I'm just really concerned. My optimism for having yes, Conte is a trophy winner. But my optimism for having him there now is starting to really wane, considering the degree of the performances, even with the players that we have. That team that we have now, even though we know the back line is absolute dross and Hugo Lloris needs to be put out to pasture immediately, that team should have beaten Aston Villa.
Yep.
Yeah,
that team should have beaten Aston Villa, irrespective of the fact that Son and Kane are not linking up and whatever. We should have beaten Villa. So what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect going forward with Palace? Final question.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping Kulusevski will come in and that'll change a significant amount up front in terms of the creativity. I want to see. Honestly, I want Pedro Porro bought tomorrow, and then hopefully between himself and Kulusevski coming in on the right hand side, there'd be more creativity going up that flank, and then. Hopefully that would make a significant amount of difference. But we're going to have a huge. But between Eze and Zaha, and we're going to get our asses handed to us at our end of the pitch. So we need to be able to do more damage when we get our chances. That's what needs to happen.
Well, Adam, thank you very much. It's a pleasure speaking to you. We need to catch up, mate. It's been a long time. We'll catch up, brother.
Yeah, defo. Shoot me a message, man, and hopefully I'll be over in London very soon.
All right, we'll see you then, brother. We'll have a great day.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for the call.
God bless. Take care.
So I know you've got a super chat. We've got another one here from Rashad Chowdhury. Enoch out. We need a good owner.
And from Andrew Gregory. SOS, save our Spurs.
And I have to say, Andrew Gregory put that on a tweet of mine today, and I've put it on my tweet now, and it is going on every single tweet I do. SOS stands for save our Spurs.
Look, there's 1,200 of you in the watching us. There's only 174 likes, so please hit that like button. It is great for the algorithm. That's the only thing we can do and say about what we can like from today.
Yeah.
We've still got a number of people in the back room, so let's keep going. And it's Ben.
How you doing, Ben? Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I'm in Australia, so we're already on to the second, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, what a shit way to start the year. what a terrible way, to be honest. It's, 3:30 in the morning. I've got work tomorrow, and I'm
Big
staying
up to you. Big up.
Big up, Ben.
I'm staying up to watch this Aston Villa performance. It was dreadful, absolutely terrible. I don't know. I was just like, it just sums up the year pretty much. I mean, we had the good start at the start of the season, and then this middle season has fallen apart. And to be honest, I don't really like everyone who's given Anik and I understand you boys dislike Anik and Levy, but this is the players at this point. These players here, those subs who were coming on at 70th minute, 85th minute, they had no desire. They did not want to win this at all. I was very disappointed in that.
Yep.
And you see players like Spence, he hasn't had a single Premier League start all season. He comes on and he wants it. You saw him running up the wing. He wanted it. He was the only one on the field who actually wanted it. And I just want to say this now. What on earth is happening with the nutritionists at Spurs? Okay, we spend all this money, we're a multi-billionaire club. Okay, we spend all this money. How do we have people like Sarr and Gill looking skinnier than me? You know what I mean? Like, these guys here are athletes. They're playing up against massive centre backs, and they're skinny. They're small. Where's the muscle going? I've seen stuff about you look at Bale's transformation.
Exactly, Ben. Exactly
at left back, and he's gone. And you see him there, and he's built up. Gill's been at the club for a year and whatever. It looks the same. It's I don't know. It's.
Ben, you know what I will say with that? What I will say with that, you have players like Bale who wanted to progress and was so determined to reach the very top that they put, like you saw Cristiano Ronaldo after work, after training in the gym, doing everything. When some of these players came in under Jose, we know under Jose it was like on the pitch we do whatever. When we're off, you do what you want in the gym. There's a little bit more freedom, which they didn't take on board. You got to look at these players like Brian Hill and Sarr. You would think maybe it is their build and their physique, but you'd think they would want to be in the gym and get this. And I've heard Conte saying about Brian Hill's physicality and whatever. This is why he has to go out on loan to an English team to try and get this. But you would think you'd either set a program for him to bulk up, or him with himself 100%. Would say, do you know what? In England, if I'm going to make it, I need my stature, my physique to be better, and there's no accountability, is there?
It was just getting absolutely pushed off the ball today. He had no chance of it. There was 3 or 4 chances where he's diving around trying to get a foul or whatnot. You're not getting it. You got pushed off fair and square. It's just too small. It's straight up like that. And to be honest, if you want to make it as a winger, you've either got to be nimble and quick, or you've got to have a bit of strength. And right now, I'm watching Hill. He's doing nothing. He needs to go out to an English club. I hear all these people talking about Spanish and Italian clubs. The game's different over there. You don't need that physicality. But even if you chucked him in at a championship level club where he's getting minutes day in, day out, okay, he gets to bulk up a little bit, he gets to toughen up a bit. I think it could do bits for him because you can see the talent in there, but he's just getting restricted by his body right now. It's really disappointing to see.
What would you, Ben? What would you like to see moving forward? And I mean, throughout the club. Right now, obviously, January's open, the window's open. What do you see? What do you want to see, and what do you see happening?
Well, I think we need to get minimum 1 new attacker. I think if Hill's going with all this talk about Lucas going over to Brazil, we need to get another attacker in. I heard you boys talking about Terrio before. Sounds like a great option. Been tearing up the French league, perfect option there. Zaha, contract ending at the end of the season. We've seen what he does. We've seen it for 3 or 4 seasons. Everyone's been talking about he needs a big move. He needs a big move. If we can get him for anything under 20 mil, it's a steal. And to be honest, everyone who's talking about his age, whatnot, we've seen players like Perisic here who are people saying beyond their prime. Zaha's tearing it up. Even if he does it for 1 or 2 seasons for Spurs, that's more than enough. He's at the player where he needs to be, and right now he would start over Son. I don't know why Son's in the starting 11. He needs a break. He looks fatigued, and to be honest, I'm looking at him there, and it's just I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the player, and I don't know if that's because people know that under this Conte system they can just put a man on him and he's fine, or whether it's the lack of space that he has to be able to run through into these gaps. But it's really disappointing to see. And Kane as well today, he looked terrible. Didn't get a touch on the ball until 20 minutes. That's not the striker I know. That's not the striker who's dropping into a camera or the centre forward. He was staying up there. The only time he got the ball was when he had to drop deep, and we were missing a Bentancur in the middle to feed him through. So he was standing there and he wasn't getting any balls going through.
There we go. So going forward to Palace. It's
going to be a shit show. I think it's going to be the exact same. But saying that, I think this Spurs team need 1 or 2 wins, and I think we could be flying. We need this win. I think it's Palace and then Portsmouth. If we can get 2 wins, and then Arsenal, which.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that game because for the first time,
but we need
in
the
a long
momentum.
time, for the first time in a long time, Ben, and it is a long time. I am petrified of Arsenal coming to us. I'm never normally going to them. I'm always petrified. Them coming to us, I'm normally never petrified. But right now, I am petrified.
I was watching the goal rush last night, and I was watching the Man City game, and then I saw the Arsenal game. I was thinking about watching it. I watched the first 2 minutes. The Martinelli went down the wing, put it in. Saka scored. I just turned it off. I couldn't watch it. I knew it was coming towards us. I don't know. In terms of what's happening with Palace, I think we either go out there and win. We might as well do what I don't know what old mate was saying. I don't know what his name is, but do some window shopping. Just put Emerson out on the wing. Okay, guys, advertise them. I don't get what we're doing here. We've got about 7 different players out on loan. They're not developing. Wings, I don't even know if he's touched the field yet. We got Rodon who's not playing. We got Reguilon who's been injured. We either have him at the club or we get rid of him. There's no point there. They're dead wood. They've been floating around. If they can't make the starting 11, if they can't make the sub bench, get them out of here. I don't know what they're doing here. We're paying for the wages in the summer. I just don't get it. Use that money there to buy some players who can actually do something. There's always talk about Pedro Porro. We've got about 3 or 4 different wing backs who are just sitting there doing nothing right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
I don't know why Daniel Levy would even want to consider it right now. No, I don't know who would want to buy any of these players. You saw Emerson. Emerson's stinking up the team right now. He's coming on. He's just dreadful. And I heard some comments about Basuma before. I don't think Basuma's a poor player, but do you know what I think it is? I think it's the formation that we're playing right now. Correct. And I think if you put him into a 3, like what we saw against Liverpool, it'd change up the way we played. And to be honest, I think we should have seen that today. I think we should have seen Son off. I think we should have seen Sessegnon on the left, Perisic and Kane up top, and then we give Son a break and let him come on from the bench, and we have Skip, Basuma, and Højbjerg. That's what I see there, and I see a completely different game because we're playing 2, and we had 2 in the midfield, and they had about 4 different players playing the midfield. We're just getting overwhelmed. We're never going to dominate that game, and we sit there and we pass around the back and whatnot, but I think we had only 1 or 2 good actual chances to score. The rest of it was just shocking, disappointing, and like I said, I wake up to go do work. I've got work in 4 or 5 hours or something like that.
Yeah. You go get some rest, Ben.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about having any nightmares because you watch that game of football.
There you go. And this is the thing why I get annoyed. This is the thing why I get annoyed as well, because there's great people like Ben that are staying up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning in his country to watch a game before he goes to work, going to get a lack of sleep, but yet because of his love for the club, stays up, watches
It's
it,
terrible.
and there's people all around the world either getting up stupid o'clock early or staying up stupid o'clock late for the love of their club to see that. So big up to you, Ben. Big up.
Big up.
Go get some sleep. Have a great day at work, brother.
I just want to say one more thing.
Fire away.
Okay, I'm proud to see Conte back in the youth there with the subs. It was a positive impact. We need to see more. We have like I said before, we either play the first team and we win, or we should be playing the youth, because there's no point doing in between and doing that half-ass attempt. But Lloris has to go, and Lloris has been one of my favorite players for a long time. I love him. I love when he plays for France. I love him as a player, and it's nothing against him. But when we're in a team like this, and Lloris has been terrible, to be honest. He's made about 3 or 4 mistakes over the season, which have and last season as well, which has cost us games. I mean, look, we've got another good French goalkeeper in the league. Why aren't we picking up players like Melier? Premier League proven, been playing in the Prem for 3 seasons now, quality shot stopper. Play him, even if he plays as second for a season, and second string gets implemented. But we need to fix that Lloris situation pretty quick, or else we're going to get caught out, because we've got Fraser Forster and Lloris, and both of them aren't a top 6 keeper, in my opinion. So
there we go. You're right. You're right,
cool.
Ben.
Absolutely right, Ben. Well, Ben, thank you for the call. I hope you have an easier day at work and you're not too tired.
Nah, it's good.
Just tell your work you got Spursitis.
Yeah, I'm sure I understand. Boys, come on, you Spurs. Get Levy out. And
right.
Become a member now, boys, so you can join in here and rant at them. Come on.
Big up, Ben. Thank you very much, man. Come on, you Spurs. Right, we're going straight on to the next caller. He doesn't look too happy. It's Michael.
All the way from Poland. Happy New Year, Michael.
Happy New Year, guys. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. What have you got to say?
There's still 6 people in the background, so we've got a late night. So come on, 10 minutes, go.
Jesus Christ. To be honest, I was watching this game, and I've been saying for a couple of shows that, frankly speaking, I couldn't give 2 shits about whether we win or lose. And we conceded. My girlfriend turned around, looked at me, and I was like, whatever, just fuck this, nothing new, nothing will change, right? But the thing is that, listen, I am part of the group chat with like 15 other football fans, right? And most of them support other English clubs, right? Not Spurs. And one of them asked me, like, after this match, asked me directly, what's wrong? What's not working at your club, right? And I told him, you want the short answer or the long answer, right? And he said the long one. And I actually, like, I think I've spent like 15 or 16 minutes writing that message that I sent him, right? Seriously, it was like this long on the screen, right? And frankly speaking, I wrote it, and now I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking fuming. Like, seriously, I was calm because I was like, whatever, I don't care, we lost, shit happens, right? But after I actually sat down and had to think about everything that's wrong, not only with what's happening on the pitch, but with this club in general, like, you can't be calm about it. You can't be... There is so much wrong with this team. We have players who are not good enough or don't care. We have manager who doesn't want to be here and doesn't want to sign a new contract. We have ownership who don't give a flying fuck about what's happening on the pitch. All they care about is money and filling their own pockets, right? We have fan base who are split and divided on every single fucking thing that you can imagine, right? It's ownership, players. Like, we have people defending fucking Eric Dyer and saying that he's good enough for this club, right? Honestly, the first part of my message was about the ownership, right? And I told my friend that, listen, the issue with this club is there is no fucking ounce of planning, not a single ounce of vision and something to get behind in this club, right? If somebody came out tomorrow from the club and told me, listen, the plan is XYZ, right? We are going to do first this, then this, then this. We are planning on winning the league in a decade, right? But we are going to have to suffer through, maybe some worse seasons finishing 10th, 12th, or whatever, right? But actually, they came out with a plan and stuck with that plan. I'm all for it. I'm open, right? Sign me the fuck in, right? The issue is that our plan apparently is bringing in youth, selling them for more money, right? But we are not acting on that plan. We are bringing in managers who are supposed to be come in, spend money, win, and fuck off, right? Then why the hell is Conte and why the hell was Jose here? Those are not the managers for what your plan is, right? That's on the ownership and only footballing wise, right? As I said, I'm a fan from abroad. I cannot relate to everything that's happening in England, right? Because I haven't seen it. I cannot comment on it, right? But strictly footballing wise, there is no fucking plan. There is no vision. There is nothing. There's nothing to get yourself behind, right? As a fan from abroad, there is. I have nothing to dream about, right? I told my friend what we need to do is exactly what Arsenal did, and it pains me to say that, right? It pains me to say that Arsenal are doing the proper thing, right? Because their plan is also the same as ours. They want to bring youth, they want to develop them, add them to the team, win stuff, right? And then after they have a core of youngsters who know what the system is, who know how they are going to play, then they add players to that, right? And they don't have to spend 100 million on a single player, right? They can bring Jesus for 40 million because he fits their system, because everybody at that club knows what they want to do, right? And I went through the squad, and honestly, boys, I've used to say that I would keep 8 players from our squad, right? Now I'm down to 6. Honestly, Dyer, if you don't want to be here, piss off. Davis, piss off. Sessegnon, piss off. Royal, Doherty, piss off. Just go. Loris, you are not good enough. Every single player is not good enough. Kane didn't give a shit, right, today. Son, if you don't fix up, sorry, you have to change the club because you are clearly not mentally here, right? Seriously, I would seriously keep Kane, Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Romero, and that's it. Who else is
you
good
did mention
enough?
Kulusevski there, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Kulusevski, of course, Kulusevski. He's my lovely one. I would make him pierogi. But yeah, boys, it's as I said, sorry for ranting, but I seriously went from, and I know that maybe swearing takes away because I'm swearing, it doesn't sound serious, but
it does.
I am serious. I am serious about it. It pains me to watch this match. It's only the second time, and I am fan for 4 years. It's only the second time I've switched off the game today because I couldn't take it anymore, right? And it was only for the last 10 minutes, but I seriously sat in front of the TV and I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm not doing this to myself. I'm not putting myself through this, right? Because if you get engaged into our community, right, you watching that game not only brings bad emotions to me because of what's happening on the pitch, but I'm also thinking about everything else, right? So yeah, it's mad. It's hard to be a fan of our club, seriously.
Michael, I just want to talk to you about what you said as well with the buying youth. When will people work this out? This buying young for cheap and selling high. Do you know what we're doing? We're basically saying we'll buy a player for cheap that's got quality, we'll turn him into a star, and then when he reaches his maximum value and could lead us to glory, we'll sell him to a big boy club for big money to go win his trophies, to go win everything. And then what we'll do is we'll buy more cheaper players rather than quality, and we'll make them stars. And just as they're getting to the point of winning trophies at Tottenham, there you go. Instead of strengthening around them, saying we've got stars, let's sell them again, so they can. I hate this buy young, sell high, or buy cheap, sell high model. Yeah, once again, it's great for the bank balance, not the footballing aspect, which is what we all love this club for. But people still say, "Oh, these youngsters, we bring them in, we unearth these gems." Yeah, we unearth them, and then we pass them on to the big boy teams to do big boy things and win Champions Leagues, win championships. But it's all right. We're by a young star, and hopefully he'll come good.
Yeah, like, listen, our club basically wants to do a Borussia or whatever, right? Borussia Dortmund. Let's just use them as an example, right? But the problem is that they don't do anything to actually behave like a club like this, right? We apparently we have like the best, youth facilities or whatever, right? And plenty of people from our community are saying that the coaches at the academy are shit, right? All the youngsters that we are bringing are not good enough, right, for the standard that we want to bring, right? So it's either you fix the youth academy, you bring you upbring those youngsters yourself, right? Or you buy them, but you have to actually have good scouts and buy quality players, not this, like, sorry, Hill is not good enough, right? I love the guy. I think he
Forrester
shows,
scored.
like,
Serge Aurier.
Serge Aurier.
Yeah,
Big up
yeah,
Serge
yeah.
Aurier. Big up Serge goddamn Aurier. Big up. Sorry, Michael.
No worries, boys. No worries. Like, seriously, I don't mind doing a Borussia, right? I seriously don't mind doing what Borussia are doing, because actually, when I know there is less good clubs in Germany, right? So it's actually way easier to win with youngsters, right? Because you only pretty much have to deal with Bayern and Leipzig, right? But yeah, as I said, it's all it takes is just for someone to come out and tell me we are doing Borussia, brace yourself. Then I won't have expectations for the season, right? When this season started, I had expectations of finishing fucking second. I thought that we can finish second, right? Because I thought that Liverpool might fall off, right? Of course, I didn't predict that Arsenal are going to do as well as they are, right? But I had dreams of finishing second and winning an FA Cup. Piss off how stupid I was with that ownership. Like, how can I be so naive to think that something is actually going to change at this club, right? It's fuck, like like, well, how can you dream about winning something with Spurs? Like, how Kane and Son have been marking all the issues with this club for the past 5 years, right? And I've said it on Tottenham away yesterday, right? I've said it that as soon as both of them leave, you think right now it's tough. You watch when they leave, when we actually have to somehow find a replacement for them. You know, it's 1 in a million that Kane turned out the way he is, right? It's 1 in a fucking million. We have a shit squad with shit players, and they are getting like held by the neck by Kane and Son, getting pulled up to 4th or 5th or 6th, right? And that's all that we can achieve. And unfortunately, Kane, he is about to be finished with this club. If I were Kane, I would fuck off this January. I wouldn't wait for the end of my contract, right? If I were Son, I honestly I feel bad for Son, and I understand why his heart is gone. I think that his heart is gone because you look at this cup, you don't see ambition, right? You know you are one of the best footballers in the world, and you don't see your club supporting you as a player, right? Seriously, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for our fans that we have to go through this. I honestly, boys, I think I might consider not watching the games during this January because I have a magic fuck ton of uni work, and I have to focus on my university, right? And I'm honestly not sure if I want to put myself through watching us getting clapped by Arsenal at our own ground, because that's what's going to happen. I don't think I can go through getting absolutely fucking analed by Erling Haaland. You know what's going to happen when we play City? He's going to put his big Norwegian arm on Eric Dyer's back and say, "Daddy's here."
But you know, Michael, what I have to say as well, and I know what you're saying, I know what you're getting at, and I'm going to urge it now because apparently I'm negative.
You are negative, Brian.
I'm not negative, mate. I am real.
I'm joking.
I am goddamn real. What I've said, like I said with the fans when we had Ben on from Australia, that get up at stupid o'clock in the morning or stay up stupid o'clock late. We all support Tottenham. Do not turn your back on the squad. You have to support them, not the goddamn... mate, trust me, after January fucked up, I said, that's it, I'm not going to Spurs, or I can't do it, I'm not watching Spurs anymore. When Burnley, before the COVID breakout, when we drew to Burnley, I said, that's it, I'm not watching them anymore. The team need us to support them, but I'm sorry, when they go 2-0 down, or performances are like that, don't let what the board are doing to this team and to this club take your passion, your hobby, your desire. Go against the board, not the players, not the manager. This is the manager's coming up for debate very heatedly right now. But fans from across, and this is why, and people wonder why I get so irate, it's because people around the world that can't have their say at the grounds, at protests, wherever. I fight for them. I fight for them as well. The people in Australia, the people in Canada. This is why. Do not turn your back on the team. Do not. It's the board, the board, the board.
Yeah. It is. Michael, sorry, man. We're going to have to move on. There's still plenty of people in the background. Thank you for your call. Try and watch the Palace game on Wednesday, and we'll speak to you soon, buddy.
I'm saying that I will watch the game, right? I will most definitely watch the game. It's just that I'm pissed off right now, right? But fucking back Conte or fuck off, Levy. Seriously, back Conte or sell the fucking club.
That's the new line. That's the new tagline. Michael, thank you very much, man.
Michael, see you later on, brother.
We'll speak to you soon, buddy.
See you later, boys.
Come on,
see you later, brother. Bye-bye.
Right, let's get the next guy on. He's coming over in a couple of weeks. I bet he can't wait. It's Dan.
Happy New Year, Dan.
Happy New Year. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, we have been owned by Good Evening, haven't we? So, Dan, what have you got to say, buddy?
Oh, my God. I want to go into these people, these owners. I don't know how you can continuously not back a manager. And do you know what I'm actually liking? This is actually good. Because we're actually seeing some unity in this fan base. Something that I've never seen in my time supporting Spurs. Some unity. I'm seeing everybody now going at Levy. There's a few exceptions, yes. But most people are now actually going at Levy. So that's a positive. In terms of the performance, I actually thought the first half was pretty decent. We're actually pressing them well. But I don't know what happened. Tottenham Hotspur came back, and that second half, it's like if the half switched. It's like if the half switched. I don't know what happened with that. But something has to change in this team, and I don't know. I was in a stream with a few other people, and they were saying, the players turned on the manager. How many times do players have the right to turn on managers? How many times? It's a concept. Like if somebody lives in a house and there's a termite problem for all these years, and they live in the house for 10 years. And there's a termite problem for 10 years. And somebody moves in for one day, and you're going to blame that person, the termite problem, on the person that moved in for one day? That makes no sense. You're going to blame it on the person that lived in the house for 10 years. That's literally the best analogy I can give for this situation. Every single manager that comes in has the same problem. Look at Conte's literally a proven manager. Same thing with Mourinho. Same thing with a bunch of other managers that we've had. Proven, they could win, and they come to Tottenham, they're done. I want Conte to walk. For his career, I want him to walk. He should walk. I don't know why. What would keep him at Tottenham? I don't know. I know he's probably going to walk into Levy's office and he's going to offer him some Skywalk tickets. I don't know. But this board is a disgrace. This club is a disgrace. From the medical team to the recruitment team to the board themselves. An absolute disgrace, and all of them have to go.
Correct. I mean, Dan, let's talk. Apart from Romero, you said the first half you seen positives. I think the only positive was we didn't concede. We looked like we were playing well, but a lot of that game was going backwards, sideways. Villa were very much disciplined. Villa had our number. They were back in shape. The referee in the first half, I think, was okay. The second half, he was an absolute fucking disgrace. But apart from Romero, that is the only positive I saw, that we didn't concede a goal. So talk to me more about what you enjoyed in the first, or what you thought was better in the first half.
Enjoy?
That was the wrong word, enjoy. What? I think the positive was we didn't concede.
That you are right to a certain point, but at the same time, from what I've been seeing all these games in the first half, I expected the same thing to this game, and it wasn't. So maybe it's just a different type of first half, which is what got me to enjoy it. But the first half, I think that we actually pressed them more, and we got like they would get an opportunity, and we take the ball away quickly, and we're having nice patterns of play. But then the second half, I don't know what happened. It was like, you know how we have one bad first half, and the first half is bad, and the second half is good. It seems like that switched around for this game. I don't know why we can't have a 90 minutes of good football. I don't know why, but I think the first half we were actually creating a few chances. We had a lot of good chances. I remember there was a lot of plays where we would make a few good passing patterns, and then like Sonny would get the ball and he tried to play it into Kane, and the ball was just right past him. There was like about 3 of those. And I haven't seen that from a first half in our games for a long time. That's what I liked about it.
Yep. I mean, what do you see going forward with Crystal Palace?
I see more pain. I see more pain. I don't. These games, honestly, I just looked down the calendar. Crystal Palace away. That's a terrible fixture. Arsenal at home. Yes, we have a good record against them, but right now they're looking like prime Barcelona, and we're looking terrible. So that game scares me as well. Then after that, Man City. Come on, the champions. Our run of form. I don't see us winning any of our next 3 games, and if we do, it would be a miracle. With the way that we're playing right now, I don't honestly. And then after that, I don't even know what it is. But it's going to Crystal Palace. I think we just have to be solid. That crowd's atmosphere is phenomenal. We know that.
Yep.
We have to be solid. We have to be resolute. Not let too many individual mistakes, which is what we usually do when the pressure gets on our back. So we just got to be solid and limit as much mistakes as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, said to say that, Nick. So I've just got to do something very quickly.
No, that's fine. No, Dan. Look, we're looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. That's probably the only positive when you come over for the North London derby. But yeah, let's hope that you're wrong and we put in a performance on Wednesday and we get something from. From Saturday.
Also, I'm just gonna. I hate to pour petrol on this fire, and I'm hearing this from a few people now. Conte has gone absolutely ballistic, and there has been a big fallout with the board. And I've not just heard that from one person now. I'm hearing this. One of my friends said Conte's walked, and I was like, "Oh, shut up! He hasn't. He was an Arsenal fan." But I am now hearing it from multiple people
I wouldn't be surprised.
Apparently, I hate to pour petrol on this fire, but it looks like there has been a big falling out. Conte, you could see during the match, looked very lethargic.
There's a quote from Antonio Conte. I have a quote from Antonio Conte. This is Antonio Conte. We don't have a foundation. The clubs knows what I think. That's Antonio Conte said that. Just tell you everything you need to know. This is a good thing about having Conte doing this. Maybe it wakes up a few fans. The few fans that are on the fence. Maybe this pushes them to the Enoch outside. That's the best thing that we could hope from this.
So Ryan Mason in charge against Palace then.
Mate, honestly,
come on.
Do you know what? This kind of happened. If people will remember, after the 3-0 and after obviously the joyous moment of hearing "We Want Levy Out" sung, which I was singing from the rooftops and delighted to be doing so, and will do against Palace and will do wherever I need to when I'm going to games. I was here with Ben, and all of a sudden there were talks that they were falling out with the board, and then within hours, he's gone. Hold on to your mate. This could be a. This could be a night where we hear some more news, and it could be news that some people are delighted to hear, some people are very pissed off to hear, but if it happens, then we have big problems. We have very, very, very big problems.
You know what happens? If Conte does walk, then it's a ripple effect as well. Kane will leave. If Conte leaves, Kane is out too. And then Son will probably leave too. And then Romero will leave. And then I don't think Kulusevski wants to stick around. And then our whole club is falling apart. Today might be the day that Tottenham Hotspur falls apart.
Yeah, could well be, Dan. Could well be. But look, Dan, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, mate. Whether Conte will be here, or Mason will be here, or Ledley will be in charge.
Fuck it, just put Levy as manager. Let him do the shit. He does everything. Let him be the next manager.
I have an idea for. All right, you know how before big games they have the tifo in the south stand.
Yeah.
How about somebody just goes into the stadium before the game starts He puts a banner in every single seat in the south stand, and then when the fans go, "Oh look, it's a banner to do a tifo," I gotta lift it up. They lift it up, and it spells Levy out.
Yeah, I think the parasite will be heads on, and that will be wiped out straight away. As much as I would love it, as much as I would love to see it, but that ain't gonna happen. But watch out, people. I'm hearing it from multiple people now. We'll have to see what happens. There's been a big falling out, apparently, and rightly so, after what's going on. And keep your eyes peeled, because this could be a dark evening.
You know what's the worst part? I literally, like, the other day bought a WeAreTottenham TV shirt for Conte.
Yep. There you go. Well, I'll tell you what. One thing: the number one trending in sports right now is Poch. The second one is Spence. The third one is Spurs. The fourth one is Tuchel. The fifth one is Levy. Then you got Potter, Koulibaly. Then it's Romero. But the top 5 trending things on Twitter right now are in this order: Poch, Spence, Spurs, Tuchel, Levy.
Brilliant.
Out.
All right, Dan, thanks, man. We shall see you soon in person, live and in the flesh. Big up, man. Have a safe trip. We'll see you soon.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Get Harry Kane off free kicks and get Levy out of this football club.
Levy out.
Big up,
Levy
Dan.
out.
Big up, Dan. Right.
So, yeah, here we go. Let's bring on the next one.
Here we go. What was it? Romano,
No, I'm not.
Romano started now.
I'm not,
here
mate.
We go,
Mate, I'm keeping my eyes firmly peeled on my phone
word.
for anything. But yeah, let's bring on the man. Let's bring on George.
Big up, George. Good to see you, mate. Happy New Year.
Guys,
Happy New Year, George.
Yeah,
Let's
it could
go.
be happier, right? Couldn't it? It could be happier. Listen, so I was watching the other day, actually, the recording of the Roma game, the post-match, the post-match show on We Are Tottenham TV, which I was on, and basically I said back then that we are lacking a creative player. I know a lot of people have been asking for the wing backs and everything else that that Conte loves to use and his system. But to me today, it was just again more of the same, that we in the last third did not have any creativity. There was just nothing there, and it was so obvious. Now, if what you're saying is right, Brian, and if you are hearing that he's fallen out with the board, that makes total sense to me now, because I was watching his demeanor during the game. So I was at the game.
Yeah.
I was watching. I was watching his demeanor, and he looked exactly like he looked before he left Chelsea. He's very thoughtful, not really animated. Just really sort of devoid of Conte expression, which we've got used to when he's been in full flow and but being fully engaged in the game. Now, I've had a quick look on my phone on the BBC website, and he's mentioning again that there's very little creativity within the side. It is, I believe, the last throes now of what we've been fearing, or what I've been fearing, and the lack of time that he's being given, the lack of true backing. Now we are now saying that we're going to lose one of the best coaches really the world has seen. I'm talking about the world here overall.
Yeah.
The clubs that he has. We're talking about an elite manager. I mean, obviously, our board knows far better than Jose Mourinho, Conte, and Pochettino. They know far better, the way that the game should be played. And what you have on offer is what you have on offer to put on your pitch. And when Poch said we need the furniture to put in the new stadium, that's when his days were numbered. And when Mourinho again wasn't backed and he was the scapegoat, we're now faced with an elite manager who's also going to go. And to me, it just spells of the board really not having any idea what they are doing. I mean, totally just engaged in the business side of things and wanting out of some magic that somebody's going to provide to get us into Champions League football, so they can just show their stadium off to the world and sell it to the boxing matches and to the rugby and to the NFL. That to me is what I'm seeing here. I hope to God I'm wrong, but really, I've got to certainly start questioning whether I continue shelling out hard-earned money to go and watch these games and paying for a season ticket when I feel as though I've now been taken for a mug for the last 20 years, basically. Not just me, of course, all the supporters. And it's really sad that it's got to that point. But to me, it just seems to be heading in that direction.
George, I have to say, again, I've said it to people, if I had my season ticket still, which I had years ago, and I have for 10 years, I simply wouldn't give it up. I'd sell every single ticket on the exchange right now and not go. But when these parasites do go and we get an owner that comes in and means a real business, you're never going to get it back. And this is something that Spurs fans like yourself work hard for. And it's your one release every single Saturday during the season, Sunday, whatever it may be, to go and do something you love and work damn hard for, to go and watch Spurs home and away when people go away. People have had their season tickets for years. Before they came, they shouldn't give it up. That's for supporting the team. I understand having it and not going and putting your ticket on the exchange, but if you lose that, George, you're going to wait 10, 15, 20 years to get it back.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. The problem is here that what we go to see the games is for some hope of success on the pitch, whether that is in the final and lifting a trophy, or at least having a fighting chance of getting there. What we're seeing here is a sort of botched attempts here by a board that really don't understand football and are only engaged with really earning millions and millions of pounds. And I'm not saying that we're the only club that is like that. But if you were to go back and you were to have a look, for example, the way that Liverpool's sort of fall from grace happened and the way that they built it up, there was a vision. You could see they brought in Klopp, that there was the backing of the manager. There was, sure, it was a rocky road, but nothing like what we're seeing now, where the painfully obvious is there, and we are still being fed the line that it's the manager that's responsible. Now, often people are saying, I've heard from supporters, and I don't want to criticize supporters. We all have our own opinions on these things. You may agree with me, you may disagree with me. That's, it is what it is. But, people are saying, oh, Conte's defensive formations. To me, what he put on today was saying, okay, let's attack. And in the first half, we attacked. We put Højbjerg practically as a false number 10 up there, really. We saw him changing positions with Cuti Romero, who was far up the pitch. We attacked, and we lost 2-0. Now, that's what you're going to be faced with that squad if you want to play an attacking game. We do not have the players on that pitch, nor the creativity to play that sort of game, which is why Conte is being forced in playing a defensive formation. Now, again, we can criticize Basuma, we can criticize Højbjerg. I'm not going to criticize the players because they're doing the best. They actually left it all out on the pitch today, as far as I was concerned. They didn't have a great game, but unfortunately, that was what they could cope with from a City side who were inspirational. And unfortunately, we do not have that ability to go on and sort of compete when we're when we're faced with that sort of an inspired team performance from Villa.
Just to let you know, people, I've just been saying, apparently Conte's odds to being the next manager to go have been slashed to 4-1.
Yeah, but it's a surprise.
Yeah, there's a bit. George, I mean, what you were at the game, so obviously the first half, Cuti Romero looked back to what we're used to with him, isn't it? Let's talk about one ray of positive at the moment. And Cuti Romero looked like the Cuti Romero of last season, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked strong. I thought actually that if we had scored the first goal, I think we could have possibly gone on to win it, sort of 2-3-0. I mean, we had the opportunities, but yeah, I mean, look, Kuti had a good display in there. Obviously, there are concerns with Sonny. Sonny really struggled to keep a hold of the ball. I thought Brian Hill had quite a good showing. There were points where his skills were just sort of leaving the Villa players for dead. But again, you just got the feeling that if there was a break on from Villa and if they did score, that we would have, there would be problems. And it's the way that it ultimately panned out. There was a big nervousness, actually. I felt a nervousness within the stadium when I walked in. Even just generally outside the stadiums, people were piling in. There wasn't the usual chanting. There wasn't the usual feeling of positivity that I've been to with most games this season, despite the fact that we weren't playing well. There was still a feeling of positivity. Today, it was a real... I don't know if it was because it was New Year's Day and some people just getting over hangovers. I'm not sure. I just felt that the whole atmosphere was pretty dumbed down and just a little bit jittery. Listen, I just can't really see too many positives at the moment. I mean, even Harry's performance today was really sort of disjointed, trying to get into the game. You could see that they were all trying to get into the game, but it was a real struggle.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, do we know exactly why? Do we know exactly why Kulu wasn't playing today?
Muscle injury. So basically, our medical team have been at it again. A player's just come back from a long-term injury, played the full 90 minutes or most of it against Brentford during training, has obviously aggravated something, and he's out. Bentancur out longer than expected. This medical staff has a lot to be questioned for, and a lot to answer to. The whole thing is shambolic.
If I recall, Jose was very critical of the
Correct.
medical team at Tottenham. I mean, I don't want to be pointing fingers, but definitely when I was watching Poch today, Freudian slip there. When I was
next week that might be right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was watching Conte today, the whole demeanor reminded me very, very much of a fading out Conte when he was Chelsea manager. And I think it's really, really sad that we've got to a position now that potentially we're going to lose an elite manager in this way. The board is still there, and Levy is still there, and ENIC is still there, and it's again, sorry to sort of. I'm struggling to be positive on any front at the moment, but yeah, I guess if there was anything positive today, it was probably Cuti Romero's performance.
There you go, George. Well, thank you very much indeed for coming on, buddy. It's very, very hard to stay positive. I get criticised for being negative when I'm being real, but here we go, and let's wait and see. George, we'll speak very soon, buddy, and have a good New Year's Day evening.
Big up, George. Good to see you again,
Come on,
man.
you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Okay, let's keep this rolling. Now, this one is going to be explosive because I know who's coming on. I am just going to sit back and enjoy. Let's bring him on from Tottenham on tour. Let's bring on Ryan Isaacs.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah.
Here we go.
Forster, Dyer, Tanganga, Sanchez, Sessegnon, Royale, Spence, Sarr, Skip. That's our bench. That's our fucking bench. Fuck off.
Yep.
So done with it. That's our bench. And you got people screaming for Conte. I said 10 minutes when that lineup came out with that bench. I said 10 minutes. The only so-called positive change he could make, and he did it after 60 minutes, was taking Brian Gill off, bringing Sessegnon on, and pushing Perisic further forward. That is the only change he could possibly make. People, it was said before when Stell mentioned about this is the only club that ask managers to change for them when we should be changing for the manager. This bald-headed parasite, which is, I feel sorry for parasites, even comparing him to him. It's just got to the point. The in-and-out chants were started by a few, including myself, up at 249. Okay, I went ballistic. I have lost the plot with this club. I've lost the plot. I will be going to Palace. I don't know why, but I'm
going to Palace.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely toxic, bro. It's going to be toxic. That bench is laughable.
It is laughable when you look at it. Let's talk about this. Obviously, we heard the news that Kulusevski got injured, so I have to say for me, Kulusevski to me right now, and I've said it for a while, is the most important player in that pitch. He is the first name on the team sheet for me because without him, there's no creativity. The forward line don't know what they're doing. We've seen it with Richarlison. We've seen it with Hill, Son and Kane. The partnership they had under Jose Mourinho has changed because we play a 3 now. That does not work without Kulusevski. A huge Bentancur shaped hole in that midfield. Bissouma can't do it in a 2, but Bissouma is now suspended for Chelsea, Palace. So it'll be Højbjerg with Skip or Mate Sarr. Emerson Royale probably won't get it. Do you know what? I'm going to say Doherty won't bad again.
You want to talk about backing a manager? The funny thing I find about this is the team that played today was worse than the team we had with Mourinho and stuff like that. Without Bentancur and Kulusevski, when we were crying out for signings a year ago, the lineup today is worse than then.
Do you know what it is as well, Ryan? I've said this on many a time. I've said this on many a channel as well. If you go back now and watch the All or Nothing documentary, love Mourinho, hate Mourinho, don't agree. Everything that man says about this club is absolutely bang on the money. When it comes to the style of play, the kind of players that we have that aren't nice, they need to be horrible. We know the next word. Just everything that's going on in this club, he is bang on the money. He is bang on the money. It's
funny because everything at this club right now is like that. It's going downhill. There's no cohesion between the fan base. There's no cohesion between the board and the managers, and there's no cohesion between the manager and the players. To have a successful running business, everyone needs to be together, and everything's gone like that, completely. Okay, I don't know what's happened to Son. I said it after the West Ham game when I was on here. I said we probably should have sold Son in the summer. I got laughed at in the comments. I went back to have a look at the comments. It's like, who was it that went, well, you're not laughing now, are you? It's predictable. Son's lost his pace. He's lost that yard of pace. And someone like Son that relies on that so much, he's coming to the end. We need to get rid of Son. He's the only one we could probably cash in on. Kane's going. We need to start completing our rebuild from the start. Today just shows how bad of a side we are. We ain't finishing top 7 this season. And that's being straight up brutally honest. We'll be lucky to finish above Brighton. And that's the way you got to look at it. This club is dead and buried unless the owners go. It's as simple as that. Levy needs to fuck off. Lewis needs to sell up. And let's just pray some owners decide, oh, there's a nice football team that needs to be invested in and come in and put the money in. Otherwise, it's just going to keep on getting worse and worse and worse. And I fear going into that North London derby. Palace. In fact, I'm fearing in a week's time Portsmouth.
Mate, there's what could be said, Brian? Obviously, it's not good. I'm trying to find positives, and apart from Romero, and apart from obviously you and me will be very happy and proud that Levy out was getting chanted. That's a huge plus for us because fans can't make a difference apparently, and we can't do things. What other positives can you take apart from those two, if any?
Kane was shocking. I
That's
was
positive.
yeah.
Positives.
Just trying to go
Don't list off the negatives. You'll be here for a week.
Conte made 5 subs. He made all 5.
There we go.
When does he ever make 5 subs? That's about it. He made 5 subs.
Could have made 5 subs on his last game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could have been.
He didn't make. He made 5 subs. That's about it. There's not much else. Yeah, Kane needs to start showing more. That's all I'll say. He needs to get more involved in the game. People are saying we need to involve him in the game. Kane needs to get himself involved in the game. I'm getting kind of sick of Kane just walking around and doing nothing. It's really getting on my nerves.
Yeah, but Ryan, I want to challenge that. I agree with that. But again, as someone said, you would have been at the game in the before we even kicked off, said he needs a rest. It's a guy, if you look at it, has just played non-stop, gone to a World Cup, come back non-stop. He could have had a rest against Forest in the Carabao Cup if we were going to do that and play youngsters, or if we were going to go out of it, just play the youngsters, go out of it. Kane, I've always said, these world-class players, if they're not getting the ball, need to go and make an impression on the game. That's why they're world-class. Harry Kane, and I said this about Son as well, is overplayed and undervalued. And when I say undervalued, I don't mean contract-wise. I mean, if you fit, you play. If you fit, you play. If you fit, you play. He needs a goddamn rest. He ain't a machine. He's a goal-scoring machine. Yep. He's not a robot. He can't keep doing this. So Harry Kane needs a rest for me. And we can't, because without him, we have no creativity.
We've got squad depth. We've got absolutely no squad depth.
Exactly. So, Ryan, any closing comments?
The only thing I'm going to be looking forward to about Crystal Palace, because I called the scoreline today. I said 2-0 Aston Villa. And the man that's going to be coming on next will tell you I called that scoreline because I was on his show and I called it. We're going to be getting slapped by at least 3 at Palace on a cold Wednesday, pissing down with rain night. But it's going to be brilliant because the away fans will not accept mediocrity like the home fans will.
Well, there we go. And then we'll end it with you the way we started with everyone, but you went nuts at the beginning. So we'll just say Happy New Year to you, Miles, your mum, all the family, mate. And I'll speak to you later on.
Yeah, Happy New Year, guys. Have a good one.
See you later,
man.
brother.
Thank you, man.
Right.
So, the final caller is the final caller.
I think Bob Spur's trying to get him. So it may be one more. It may be one more. If Bob Spur can say he's listening now, Bob Spur, get him while Stelios is on, or we're closing. Let's bring him on. Stel, Happy New Year, my brother. How are you? Stel, you're on mute.
Of course he is. McDonald's Wi-Fi.
And he's frozen.
We can't hear you, Stel.
We're in. Still can't hear you, buddy.
Is that better?
Oh, wait a minute. Stel?
Yeah, is that better?
There we go. Now we can hear you, brother. How you doing? Happy New Year to you and the family.
Yeah, Happy New Year to both of you. Happy New Year to everyone in the comments. Big up everyone watching the show tonight. This is a very difficult one for us because it's getting worse. But there's a lot that needs to be discussed that happened today. I was at the stadium. Things that happened before and after that hasn't been mentioned yet. But I want to cover it, guys. I really want to lay it out as to what's really going on right now, because I think there's a lot of confusion, because what you're seeing is a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of big hitting journalists and big Twitter accounts trying to direct the travel of the conversation. They weren't there afterwards to see what I saw. So first of all, before the game, there wasn't one Spurs fan who I spoke to. Sorry, I'm getting an echo. That's why I might be messing my words up. But every Spurs fan I spoke to was worried about the starting lineup. no Kulusevski, no Bentancur was a worry. And every Spurs fan was happy that Eric Dyer wasn't starting. And to people that were on social media during the week, calling Conte a coward, calling him a fraud for not bringing on Brian Hill against Brentford, well, let me tell you something. We started the game. Brian Hill got a chance. Dyer was dropped. No Kulu, no Bentancur. We were god awful. Terrible. Does Conte have to take some account for that? Yes, he does. And I've never said that before.
Correct.
Is he to blame for the result? No. Hugo Lloris fumbled the ball, more individual errors. And the second goal just proves the entire back line is god awful. There's not one defender at this club that deserves to be wearing a Spurs jersey except for Romero. They are shocking, all of them. The midfield is incapable without Bentancur. It cannot function without Bentancur. And that front three today, I'm sorry, Son, it's not Conte's fault because someone golden boot Conte. Son is shot. I don't think he wants to be here. Brian, oh, look at his step over. Oh, look at that drag back. So what? You didn't score. You didn't create. Every cross you put in the box was terrible. He's not good enough, guys. Stop defending Brian Hill if you defend him. He's not good enough to progress us. We've had top four since Harry Redknapp. We haven't progressed any further than top four. The players at Spurs will not progress us. End of. The bench is one of the weakest benches you'll see of any top 6 club, top 10 club this season. 5 defenders, no attacking midfielders, no strikers, no creativity. We're unlucky that Richarlison's injured, Kulu's injured, Bentancur's injured, even Lucas Moura, who's got some experience, injured. The squad, and I've been saying this since day one, the squad is the most important thing. That all said.
Do you know what? I just have to say one thing. This is how bad it's getting. Callum Chambers has just remember his Arsenal roots, has just put North London is claret and blue. Happy New Year. We're a banter club.
Let me tell you something, guys. We've been finishing above Arsenal for so many years. What have we done with it? I'll tell you what we've done with it. 5 managers, God knows how many directors of football. We have failed every time we've got top 4 to push on, and every season we finished above Arsenal, we have failed. You can defend it as much as you like. The Enoch in, the Levy in, that's fine. Defend it. Keep defending it, because what I saw today has given me hope. All week, we've seen social media turn. Levy out trending, Enoch out trending. We've all been engaging with fans, saying it's time to take action. We've been doing it all week. In the stand, it began. Levy out. Levy out. We want you to go. The chants began. It was loud. It wasn't enough, but it's there. It's beginning. It's snowballed from social media. It's entered the stadium. What I want to talk about is this. The guy next to me said to me, "Why are you saying that?" I said, "Saying what?" He goes, "Why are you Levy out?"
Oh, Jesus.
I said to him, "Are you happy with today's performance? Are you happy?" And he goes to me, "That's not Levy's fault." I said, "Whose is it?" He said, "Conte's." I said, "Okay. So you want Conte out then?" He goes, "No, I want him to change." He's not going to change. Elite managers don't change. They come with their philosophy. They come with their way. You back them or sack them.
Yeah.
So what are you? He said to me, "Well, it's Conte's fault." I said, "Okay. So you blame the previous 13 managers as well because they've all failed. They've all been fired. You want to sack another manager?" He goes to me, "Yeah, but you can't just blame Levy." I said, "I'm not. I'm asking you a question. Why are you prepared to blame another manager? Who hired the manager? Who hired the previous manager? Talk to me." He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it, Brian. He couldn't do it, Nick. And then we had a conversation about Levy and Enoch and the fans behind me involved. And what I'm doing is I'm engaging with the Levy in, the Enoch in, and I'm putting it back on them. What is your breaking point? How many more are going to go through? And they're beginning to turn. Went to the pub afterwards. Went to the bricklayers.
Very sorry, Stel. I want to ask you, Stel. I want to just ask you one very quick question. And I go, that leave you out chant, was it louder than what happened at United? The same, less?
No. The Man United one was much more. But
okay,
it's building up, and I'm telling you both. When, not if, when Arsenal come and take us apart, anyone who thinks this squad is going to be able to deal with the way they keep possession and move the ball the pace they do and cut teams open, unless they go down to 10 men, 9 men, get lucky, then yeah, anything's possible. But let's have it right. Arsenal are going to come and beat us, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I was right about this game today. I said I feared we'd get a draw. I said we wouldn't lose, but that's before I saw Kulusevski out. So I think Arsenal are going to beat us, and you bet it's going to be louder than when we lost to Man United. It's going to turn, and it's going to turn big. In the pub after the game at the Bricklayers, there was 3 lads, and they said to me, "Oh, you're the guy from YouTube." I said, "Yeah, mate, you're right." We got talking. I said to them, "Come on my show. I want you to have your voice." Because they're in the middle.
Okay.
Blaming the Conte, blaming the owners. We had a half an hour chat, and they're all saying, yeah, it is the owners. Because it's the way we speak to them. It's the way we put the argument back. They're all going to come on this week or next week, and they're going to have their say. And this is what it is. But the one thing that pissed me off, really wound me up, was they were chanting in the pub, "We want our Poch back. We want our Poch back." Me, JP, Graham, Alex, THFC, we turned our back on it. And I turned around and I said, "Why do you want Poch back?" "Oh, when we had Poch," I said, "when we had Poch, we had Wanyama, Dembele, Vertonghen, Danny Rose, Toby. We had Kane and Son who could actually press."
Yep.
"So why do you want Poch back?" And then it became, "Yeah, but surely he's better than Conte." I said, "So why did we hire Conte? Why did we hire Poch then? Why did we sack Poch, sorry?" "Yeah, but we made a mistake." "No, we didn't. Levy did. So what was the last 4 years worth? What was that for?" And then you know what? "Oh yeah, well, you make a good point." And then the conversation begins. So what I said at the start of the show when I came on, guys, is what people need to understand that's happening in and around Tottenham, the stadium now. The conversation about the owners is rampant. And fans are talking about it. And this is the way we've got to do it. Because that conversation puts in people's heads, Levy, ENIC, Levy, ENIC. And when it all goes tits up against Arsenal, you bet it's going to be Levy out. You bet it's going to get toxic. Something has to give. I've seen the comments from Antonio Conte tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard.
He's calling them out.
I don't know if you heard this or were listening to us on your drive home or anything, but there's a lot of people I'm hearing from that Conte has gone absolutely chicken oriental. There has been a huge falling out, and Conte's odds of being the next manager to walk have gone down to 4-1.
Listen, I hope he goes Italian salami army. Rip him a new one. Bring the house down. This is why I've always been Conte in. And you get people saying, "You're allowed to be Conte out and Levy out." And I'm like, no, keep Conte here. Because at the end of the day, he will call them out. He will let rip. And we're at that stage now. He's going to go parabolic. Bring it down. This is the kind of event that's needed. Sadly, this is what's needed for Levy to be exposed and for ENIC to be called out. It was never going to be a nice event. Look at Brexit. Was that nice? American elections, was that nice? When people want change, it never goes nice because it's divided. Sadly, anything at 2 sides of the coin, it will get toxic when the change comes. There's no way we're bringing back Pochettino and that's acceptable. We had 4 years without him and it's been awful. And now fans are saying Conte out. What are you on? Really? You can't keep blaming managers, guys. Cannot happen.
There we go.
I hope Conte walks. I hope he calls them out. And I hope the thing implodes. Because that's the only way the fans are going to go to that North London derby and we take it to the board once for all. And the media are talking about it. Fans are talking about it. You've got people on social media talking about it. You see people coming out and getting defensive. What you're seeing now, guys, is the ENIC in the side of the coin. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. They don't know how they can be balanced because there's no balance anymore. 22 years, there's no balance. So I was there today. It was a fucking awful game of football. The Aston Villa fans were having a party. Spurs fans were very quiet. Very quiet. It's almost subdued.
Stell. 1 second. We've just got a super chat in from Asad Hamid. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is true. But guys, apparently Conte has resigned, is what the super chat is saying.
Yes!
Apparently. It could be someone just saying it. But the rumours, obviously, that I was saying, that there's been a fallout. The rumours that this could keep your eyes peeled because this may be happening today. This may be happening.
And that's why he never signed a new contract. And that's why he's looking like he's not fully there on the touchlines. He's not animated. He's not engaged anymore. I wanted this to happen. It exposes the board. When a manager resigns, and he's been saying all along, I need backing, and I'm not staying unless I get assurances. Why has he resigned? Because he never got those assurances. That is on Levy. That is on ENIC. And for me, I hope you all enjoy now Ryan Mason taking charge of the North London derby.
So yeah, like I said, I just want to reiterate and state that is a super chat. It's not official. Nothing is signed, sealed, delivered. But
I'm cheering like an absolute idiot.
No. Stell. What you got to remember is, like I said before you came on, I was hearing it from multiple people that he has gone absolutely bonkers. Then he's gone down to 4-1 to be the next manager. The next manager to walk. This could be happening tonight.
Anyone watching this show, please go to Tottenham Away, my channel, when Conte first signed. We've got Iggy, Italian, fanatic about Serie A. He said to us on the show, when Conte comes, he does two things. One, he looks to get involved in the culture of the club and change it to the winning approach he has. And if they don't change and implement that winning way and they don't back him to do it, eventually he will call them out. He doesn't hold back when it comes to the crunch. This is exactly what Iggy said when Conte first signed. And I'd like to remind every single Spurs fan, when Conte came, we were all Antonio. When we got top four, we were bantering Arsenal. Antonio. What's changed between then and now? I'll tell you what's changed. That summer window, he wasn't properly backed. He wasn't given a new contract to sign because a long-term plan wasn't put in place by the club, and they let it linger, and now it's all come to head. We were saying before the World Cup, on every YouTube channel, we were saying, January is crunch time. No one was... I was saying it for months. You guys were saying it. It's happening now. This is it. Fans have to make a decision. Either you get involved and demand action. This board steps down, puts the club up for sale, something. Or sit back and accept another 20 years of rubbish. We're being left behind. It's unacceptable. We're fans, man. We love our club. And anyone that says, stop going to the games, I support my team, not the regime. I will always support my team. And you said a great thing earlier, Brian. I was listening in the car. Never turn your back on the team. Never turn your back on the team. I will never turn my back on my team. It's the owners I've got the issue with, and I pointed to them.
Correct, Stel. We're going to leave it there. But like I said, I'm going to reiterate again, that super chat is a super chat we read out. Nothing is official at all. At all. But we shall wait and see. But the way that I've been hearing things have blown up, I would not be surprised if we hear this tonight. So, Stel, listen, you and me will definitely talk later on anyway, bruv. And we'll go from there. Stel, I'll speak to you later, man.
Big up, Stel.
Big up, everyone. Happy New Year. I know it's a shit game, but listen, life's bigger than football, you know. We just get very passionate about the game because it's a big part of our lives, you know, and we just want the best for Tottenham in terms of trophies and having a team we can be proud of. And we haven't had that for 4 years, and we promised everything once this stadium was built. That's my issue, guys. Please don't get offended if you're watching this by what I say or get upset. I'm a massive Tottenham fan, and I want us to be winners, not pretenders. That's it.
Damn right. Stel, we'll speak to you later, brother.
Big up, Stel.
Big up.
All right, so before we go, got one more super chat. Then I need to do my thing before we do like, comment and subscribe. We got from Lee Richards. Big up, Lee. A fantastic support of all the channels. Problem is, guys, Levy knows most Spurs fans will be pacified if Poch comes back. Bringing Poch back is the last rabbit out of the hat for Enoch and Levy. I actually think, Lee, in response to that now, I think even Poch coming back, you heard Stel say some fans were singing it. People are seeing Levy for what he is now. They will see through this. I pray to God they see through it. Nick, it's been a total pleasure to at least spend New Year's Day with you. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, you're right. That's the only thing. It has been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. Listen, I'm going to, just before we do our normal thing, I'm just going to do it. And as always, Levy out. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, come on you Spurs.